Welcome to Black and Gold Digital Edition, a behind-the-scenes look at your Pittsburgh Steelers.
Hi, and welcome to Week 6 of the NFL regular season. I'm Jay Pushkar alongside Mike Fenner and Kent Urbanski. And guys, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, we'll take a look at the Cleveland Browns matchup, but first let's take a look back at the victory against the Philadelphia Eagles. They were able to outscore the Eagles. They played very well, but boy, what a breakout performance for rookie Chase Claypool. Mike, it's just got to be really refreshing to know that not only is he a first-year wide receiver, but he's making such an impact with this receiving core.
Already, and helping this team go to 4-0 for the first time since 1979. He was the star. 7 catches, 110 yards, 3 touchdowns receiving, 1 touchdown rushing. First non-quarterback with 4 touchdowns in a game as a rookie ever for the Steelers, and the first time since 1968 they've done that. So you know it was a pretty big day when Claypool was able to accomplish some of those feats.
And Kent, we heard that from Ben Roethlisberger, you know, there's no animosity in this locker room right now. Even your number 1 receiver, Juju Smith-Schuster, was praising the effort of Claypool, and he just wanted to make sure that bottom line they got the W and they can move forward.
Yeah, and that's huge, you know, especially now that Le'Veon Bell has been released by the Jets and the Steelers are on that list of teams that pick him up. They don't want anything to do with that.
Right.
So, you know, not to get off topic there, but right. I mean, I think Juju has handled that in a great way, and that's given, I think, Chase Claypool, you know, a lot of confidence in himself and a lot of confidence in the team that there's no sort of pecking order, you know, there, that it's all about winning, and that's what that team camaraderie is all about in Pittsburgh right now.
And it's well documented that the Steelers are 4-0 for the first time since 1979. They'll try to keep it going as the Cleveland Browns come to town. It's the first of 2 matchups against these 2 rivals. And Mike, a lot of energy going into this game. It's been a long time coming that there's been a buzz during the regular season that the Browns-Steelers game has a lot to do with possibly the standings, seeding for playoffs, but the fact that you have 2 winning organizations going at each other for the first time in a long time.
I was going to say the fact that you use the word playoffs and Browns in the same sentence
Right.
is a huge deal for a lot of people around the Cleveland area and for us locally in the Erie area. It's crazy. I mean, you look at the combination of the Bills, Steelers, and Browns. They're like 12-2 to start the year. Has that ever happened before?
Not in my lifetime.
It's crazy. And yeah, this game is going to be a lot of fun. A lot of people forget that they split this series last year because Cleveland won that Thursday night game, but everything was so surrounded with the Myles Garrett, Mason Rudolph incident that a lot of people forget this Browns team at that point in the season, early in November, they were in the mix for the playoff hunt. And now it seems like they've got the right coach in place. And even with some injuries and some guys not available right now, it's a team that's got a lot of promise, and Pittsburgh's got to be wary of what they're up against this week.
Ken, you've been on the sidelines for decades, and how great is it to have this rivalry rejuvenated? Because there were some great battles, especially in the 80s when the Browns and the Steelers were always making the postseason.
Yeah, I think it's great for the game. It's great for this division. It's great for the competition of it. So, you know, I think that balance has maybe shifted a little bit from the Baltimore Ravens back to Cleveland, especially after maybe what happened last year. But I think all that aside, I think the players they're not going to be thinking about that in this game coming up. There's a lot more on the line with playoff indications down the line that they're going to let all the little drama aspects of it go. Like Mike said, this is going to be a good football game between an undefeated team and one that wants to unseat them. So Cleveland comes in with a great running game. The Steelers are great at stopping the game, stopping the run. I'm looking forward to that matchup.
Both teams coming into this matchup having won 4 in a row. And Mike, do you get the sense that this is kind of like big brother versus little brother, where the Browns for years have been always in the middle, if not the bottom of the division, and for them to take that leap and be serious contenders, that if they can at least get this first victory, because week 1 against Baltimore, they did not show up and they got thumped. Do you feel like this could be a benchmark test for them to see where they might be throughout the course of this regular season?
No question about it. This is a huge mental hurdle for them because the Browns haven't won at Heinz Field since 2003. I mean, that's almost 2 decades. They haven't won a game at Pittsburgh. This would be a major statement win for the Browns. But even more so, if the Steelers win, they can still look at it as a statement win, even though it is kind of a big brother, big little brother deal, like you said. I mean, yeah, Pittsburgh is accustomed to winning this game, and Ben Roethlisberger has such a gaudy record in this series against the Browns. But for either team, it's a massive win. But I think the interesting element is the extra playoff team in the AFC, too. You realistically could very well see all 3 of these AFC North teams in the postseason. They're on track for that right now.
Kent, what are you seeing so far from the Steelers through the first month of the season that has really stood out that, you know what, it's not a concern, they're playing really good football, but things are starting to click for them right from the get-go?
Well, I do have some sort of a concern with that secondary, you know, giving up so many passing yards to wide receivers that no one has heard of before they've come in and step into Heinz Field. And now with Jarvis Landry and Beckham coming in, they're gonna be very, very tested in this game. However, I do think with the home field advantage, so to speak, with the limited crowd, I still think the Steelers have the edge with a veteran quarterback, with a more balanced attack, and I think if they can come into this game, make them one-dimensional, I think the Steelers are going to do everything they can to stop the run, make Baker beat him with his legs and with his arm, and I think that it's going to come down to turnovers, and I think whoever wins that turnover battle in this game will win it.
Finally, guys, we talked so much about the regular season schedule, the matchups, and is this team proven? Is this team worthy? This is going to be a huge test for Pittsburgh for the next month. Starting this week, not only do they have Cleveland, but then following up with 3 straight road games. We keep our fingers crossed that the Titans game next week will be a great matchup and it'll be played. And then, of course, you've got the Ravens and the Cowboys lined up after that. This is going to be a huge litmus test for the Steelers. And how important is it for them to stay focused going into this one, knowing what lies ahead?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about potentially 3 straight games against teams that are at least playoff caliber, if not playoff teams down the road. That's huge. 2 road games in that stretch, and then a 3rd straight one, as you said. It's a really difficult 4-game stretch, so they do have to take this one game at a time. If you want to look at any sort of silver lining, they could have to face Nick Chubb this week, but it's only going to be Kareem Hunt, which is still a tall order in that running attack. But that's one player they do get to avoid with Chubb being on the injured reserve list for now.
Yeah, I think that's what makes that's what makes this an important game. It's a division game, and you need to win this game.
Well, we're looking forward to it. I mean, just the buzz around here locally, it's exciting to finally have a team combined. You know, they have an 8-1 record and a first place possibly on the line going into week number 6. So for Mike Fenner and Ken Urbanski, I'm Jay Pushkar. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for watching. Join us again next week for Black and Gold Digital Edition.